in round 2, and G's won the die roll again, so that's some fantastic odds in our favor. And we got to keep 2-drop into 2-drop and to draw more cards. So that's great. I'm assuming we'll start getting some more lands and be able to get the Krumar and the Bitter Revelation down soon enough. But having 2-2-drops on the play is fantastic, and a Seeker at 2 is really fantastic. Ooh, playing against another white opponent. Let's see if my opponent has a 2-drop actioned for us. Just white mana, though. So that's going to start putting us in a really good position, especially drawing our 4th land. 2 lands right off the top makes this draw insane with the Bitter Relation and Unyielding Krumar. And if my opponent's trying to be an aggressive white deck like Jeskai or something, having a Seeker of the way, it just makes that really hard. My opponent loses an Alpine Grizzly. Alright. Abzan deck. And opponent is stuck on 2 lands. Alright. I'm just going to Bitter Revelation here instead of get the Krumar down. No, that's silly. Let's put as much pressure as possible down. Opponent's stuck on lands. We want to be attacking. Plus, this Bitter Relation will probably allow the Seeker of the Way to be able to attack through next turn if my opponent does find 3rd land into morph. So, yeah. Mardu Hortchief as a 2-3. See? Exactly what I was referencing. Tempting just to play the Krumar Bondkin, but I want to be able to attack with the Seeker here, so let's do the Bitter Revelation. Go triggered abilities. Yeah, my opponent stumbled, and we've just drawn perfectly from our 2 mana into a bunch of other stuff. Wow. Okay, so I want the Saddle Brute and the Chief, right? Yeah. Those cards are just fantastic for with what I have right now. And we'll be able to get our Sultai Scavenger played pretty easily with something else on a turn, so ouch. Chief the Edge will allow the Skull Hunter to attack up into the Mardu, whatever. If we don't draw a land next turn, we can just play the Krumar Bondkin as a morph and the Chief of the Edge down. Chief I like because it allows me to continue to attack in. And even though my opponent could, again, like block the Seeker of the Way, just having that much damage pounding through is crazy. Considering. So this is probably, well, I don't know, because we saw Alpine Grizzly, excuse me. I was going to say a Mardu deck since my opponent kept a 2 plains land or whatever. But that doesn't seem to be the case at the moment. It's up to 9. There's at least white and green here. Jungle Hall is okay. Do I want to play the Chief that was just attack with everything? It means that my opponent can just trade away. Yeah, that's what I want to do. I have action in my hand. So what I want to do is attack with everything. Oh no, did I click? Hold on. Oof, got scared there for a second. I thought I accidentally clicked into combat, which I did not want because I want to make sure this is happening. Because here my opponent's taking at least 4. Probably does just trade away, but that's okay. And the question is, what do I play in response here? Here's the deal. My opponent can get out of this with a end hostilities next turn. And I have lethal right now. Because I'm just going to play the Krumar Bondkin. I want to say the Scavenger and the Saddle Brute as my follow-ups. Because they're just that good. Here, because my opponent doesn't have any creatures, I do want to keep pressuring. Yeah. End hostilities was the only thing I was worried about. And I didn't have to for that particular one. Interesting. What was my opponent? My opponent has Sagu Archer, by the way. I didn't look at that on the morph that blocked. Sorry for not mentioning that sooner. Well, we did the die roll. That was nice. My opponent, white, green, and probably a third that we're missing. I don't want to bring anything in. Attendants and Despise are only two real cyber cards, or the Dazzling Ramparts. The 4/2 Bear's a little scary, but a lot of our stuff trades with it, so we can just do that. Mardu Horde Chief's actually a great card, which we had some of those in our deck. Alright, fantastic start. 1, 2, 3. Actually, 1 and 2 is good, and then we'll get the Bellowing Saddlebrute online. So yeah, what a fantastic way. Even though we're on the draw, this is still a really good keep for us. I'll attack in with my Disowned Ancestor next turn to get Skull Hunter right away? Question mark? Not too sure. I actually think we just rock out a Seeker of the way. Or did I just do the Chief? The thing is, if I wait, I can attack the Disowned Ancestor in like a turn or two, just fine. And getting my opponent on a lesser card, or a better card is kind of nice. Let's get the Chief out. Get our 1 point of damage in. I'm considering this going to be a race that we win with our Seeker and with just what our different decks are trying to do. So I'm not looking just to keep my Disowned Ancestor back for no reason. Since I don't... Okay, so my opponent has black. Is Abzan, as you would expect. Oh, you know what? That might have been a consideration I didn't think about. I might have want to keep the Ancestor back because of triggering raid. Alright. So... if I attack with Disowned Ancestor, my guy's good. I can just play the Krumar Bondkin face down. Next turn we can still probably attack with something and play a Seeker and a Mardu Skull Hunter, or play the Bellowing Saddlebrute. And I think I like just maximizing the mana here. And now I'm rethinking my Disowned Ancestor play, because my opponent can just block for no, you know, pretty A-okay. I'm going to hang on to the Bellowing Saddlebrute because I don't want my opponent to, you know, play a bunch of lands and cast everything. Ooh, maybe I do want my Bellowing Saddlebrute now. 4/5 is pretty nice. Then a big question is, do I trigger Raid to get the Mardu Skull Hunter down because this Disowned Ancestor can do some work? I think what I do... no matter what, I want to trigger Raid, right? That means the Disowned Ancestor, though, can just, like, die. So do I throw in the Morph? It blocks. Chief of the Edge is the only thing that if I attack with it... Well, gosh, I just put myself in this position now, didn't I? Trying to get super duper greedy. The Chief can attack and at least trade off with, like, a Highland Game or something, which is probably what would go down. Versus I can just not trigger Raid to just develop the board out. Maybe I just go ahead and take 4 damage with the Bellowing Saddlebrute then? Just to have a big old guy? Next turn we'll have better attacks? Jeez, I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do, because I want to be able to attack next turn. And I already told you I'm not super worried about the life hit. And having a 5/5 is pretty nice against my opponent's board, so that's what's happening. My opponent is stuck on 3 mana, which means this Skull Hunter next turn will get something, no matter what, so that's kind of nice. Can't imagine an attack here. If my opponent attacks with anything other than the Grizzly, I'm just blocking with the Disowned Ancestor. If my opponent attacks the Grizzly, I'll trade off with my Morph. My opponent clearly does not have end hostilities, which is nice. Alright, cool. So, do I attack with both my guys? No, because I don't want to spend my entire turn morphing. I definitely want to play both my dudes. I'll attack with Bellowing Saddlebrute, and my opponent can double block. I get, at least 2 cards out of it, and I get a trigger raid and clear up the board. So, yeah. Opponent just takes it, which is fantastic. Slamming this guy down. And then, do I want to Outlast, or do I want to play my Seeker? Opponent gets rid of Smoke Teller, another dude. Into the graveyard. I think we just go wide now, right? Thing is, I can't really attack that profitably. I'll start attacking with these guys next turn or two. I love getting more defense on my Disowned Ancestor. But I'll do that later. Probably should have left white up in order to suggest the Defiant Strike, which would have triggered Prowess. My opponent's down to hang out for a while. And as we just continue to draw more, I'm happy just attacking with our big guys. So I'll probably just be unmorphing my Bondkin. Probably just do a 1-for-1. But it depends how my opponent wants to conservatively block. Raider Spoils would be so great soon, just because I can start basically not suicide attacking, but attacking in profitably, trading off, and then drawing cards. If my opponent doesn't block my morph, then I'll just go ahead and play the Bondkin and Outlast. Is there any reason to flip this guy? No, because it still dies. It's going to be a 6-3, but there's no trample or anything. So who do I want to die first? Definitely you. And then the morph. Because it's going to be wild for the morph to be anything special. And the other guys can stay alive. That's fine. I guess an Abzam Charm would be annoying, but still it's a 1-for-1. And we still have a good board presence outside of that. Following up and outlasting up. So what is my opponent doing? Is it an Abzam Charm? Oh, flipping the Sidisi's Pet? Okay, I didn't think about that. That does keep my dude alive, and we only get to trade 1-for-1, which is a bummer. But I'm only minorly gotten, I suppose. Bad trade for me, but not the end of the world. And we're still in pretty good shape. Yeah, no cards in hand, and my opponent can draw out of this Mana Screw. But I'm hoping that we'll still have some decent pressure. I mean, I'm glad, but it's also kind of shitty that my opponent wasn't able to get out of that. So I only have an attack with the Unyielding Krumar right now. We'll just keep outlasting our Disowned Ancestor. Opponent could do a triple block. Wouldn't do a whole lot, but that's fine. I don't need to... I guess I could pay 2 for my opponent not to gain a life. Might have been appropriate. Ooh, and Awaken the Bear. Okay. So, 1-for-1 trade again. My opponent does gain a bunch of life, but such is the world. A defensive Awaken the Bear I'm actually okay with. We get to Outlast to start making our guy dude, or our guy huge. Which will hopefully lead to... Oh, does my opponent still not have land? Jeez. That's pretty rough. Gots to admit. Do I attack in? No, my opponent just blocks for no reason. Yeah. Player land. Continue to Outlast. I'm glad that I have this mana sink right now. Well... Because I am worried about my opponent finding the lands to make, this board state not so precious. Could be right to be attacking, but I feel like I just have such bad trades. My cards are so much better, and I have great cards in my deck that make keeping my warriors around fantastic, such as a Raider Spoil. No, not quite. I'll play the Abzan Guide and Outlast. I'm cool with tapping out. Alright. Sorry for my opponent's mana screw. That's just... okay, we're out of it. Is there a fantastic 4-drop here? I can't imagine anything at 4 that really gets this online. I mean, a Siege Rhino would be good, but still. Now I can start attacking with its own Ancestor, right? It attacks to the Sidisi's Pet. Doesn't die. And there could be some multiple blocks here, but if we clear the way, then all these guys start bashing through, so. And I need to put pressure on my opponent. My opponent has a lot of life, and is now starting to draw out of the land thing. Sidisi's Pet is kind of the one keeping everything back, so we'll go this route to go these two guys dead. Could be another combat trick. It's still okay with me. Feed resistance. The guy gets bigger, stays alive. And they're not great, but for getting out of my opponent's hand, my opponent's taking damage. I'm gaining life also. So there you have it. 5/6. I'm just going to cast it face down, since I can just unmorph it anyway. 2/5 is a little annoying, but I can still attack with my Disowned Ancestor, okay? Oh, I didn't even gain the life. I forgot, because it's protection, so it doesn't get to do damage. Bummer. Would have happened anyway, but still. Alabaster Kieran can be problematic. I want to be able to start pounding through here. Definitely with the Disowned Ancestor. War Behemoth. Would only trade for a Kieran or the little 1/1s. 2/3 Vigilance holds a lot back. For now, I'm going to hold off on the attack, so my opponent can just block and gain life. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah. So we just have the Disowned Ancestor attack, which is good. Getting a little bit worried, as I said, because my opponent can, start casting spells soon enough. Has 5 cards in hand, and I have the board state right now, so I'm not getting so far behind, but could get ouchy very soon. But one thing like a Raider Spoil or anything can get really nice. Problem is Raider Spoils, doesn't allow me to get through all the defense, but it can start up trading pretty nicely. And hopefully draw some cards off my Disowned Ancestor. But I need it soon. If I get too low in life from this Alabaster Kieran, I'm in trouble. Would love to get one of my flyers online, the Sage Eye Harrier or the Scavenger. A lot of our super powerhoused cards we've already used up. Ooh, what's my opponent have at my upkeep? An Utter End. Ooh, bummer. Okay. Definitely need to draw something fantastic now. That is not fantastic. I'm going to keep playing it out. Gives me like a dead drop or something. That's probably not going to be a big deal. And as feared, my opponent has drawn out of the screw long enough because I haven't had enough pressure and is really going to be able to start taking over the game soon. Thanks to the Sidisi's Pet and those 2 great combat tricks. I still think all the decisions I've made so far have been correct, though I might have to go back and double check. I'm just whiffing a little too much. And the defense my opponent supplied was really nice. What you got here? What's going on? I'm confused. 1, 2, 3. Morph. Okay. But leaving up specifically not green instead. Better Relation is good. Slamming it, of course. One of the best draws we could probably have for our deck. From our deck. Kill shot is good. Hate blade's not fantastic, but whatever. Definitely playing the hate blade. Do I attack in with the seeker? My opponent can kill it, or we just gain some life. But this seems to be not a lot of reason for that. Very happy that I can kill shot and use my Mardu hate blade. I guess I'll keep the planes. Nah, we'll just play it. Kill shot killing the flyer, and then we're in another board stall. But keeps a lot of options open. I can still be attacking in with the hate blade next turn with, you know, it could trade with the dork, but that's probably the best it's going to get. Yeah, I think we'll wait. Kill shotting. Kind of doing its role on this deck in case the situation happens. Feeder resistance, another one. It is a good card. It's a bummer that puts my opponent into a quicker kill for me. Increases my clock quite a lot. And I don't know if I have enough time to get out of it with the... All I have is a dead drop, so there's no way my opponent's going to be sacrificing the Kieran. Still just have nothing. Yeah, I think we're going down. The plane is crashing. I'm not too sure I could have been that much more aggressive since I had all those bad trades against my opponent's other cards earlier. Such is the life. My opponent's probably doing some math here to see if an attack kills me. Playing it safe as I think is appropriate. But my opponent could have put me down to 1, but I mean, who really cares? It's an extra turn. Take up arms is nice, but I don't have a way to deal with the flyers, so I'm not going to show my opponent that. If my opponent attacks with Kieran, then that's it. Yep. And we go into sideboarding. Don't think I'm going to sideboard, but let's double. I am on the hidden cards here, not the hidden cards, in the flipped cards in the chat, noticing another CDC's pet. That was the other morph, which is really good against my deck, and my opponent is appropriately playing it, but I'm not overly concerned. Sure, it might take out some cards. I'm worried about like the feeder resistances. I think being on the play means I still don't want the Dazzling Ramparts or the Attendants. I still like the deck, like I was saying. I'm not going to sideboard. So we'll keep it this way. Good job to my opponent who, remember, was stuck on 3 mana for a while. This is a very tempting keep. But I'm going to have to mulligan because we don't have black. If this was a black and a white, then maybe I'd take it and one land starts getting us off. It's just tempting because it's so powerful at our 4-drop, but can't really do much with that. Oy. Aw, I don't want to go down this way. This is okay, but certainly not fantastic, of course. Oh. Come on. I have to pay the mana. I have to actually tap it. Alright. Opponent has double green and a smoke teller out. We're just going to keep building up our disowned ancestor. If you can attack for 2, then it's in good shape. So next turn we can, attack. Be fine. Opponent only has green mana, so that might give us enough time to get enough action on the table to not fall too far behind. Here's a morph. Ooh, that's actually a really nice draw. Allows me to attack in and then have a nice blocker up. Because I do want to be attacking. Well, hang on to the Timely Horde Mate for later in case, like, this Disowned Ancestor does get taken out. If an opponent plays white here, I don't know if I want to block, since the double feeder resistance deck is a little scary. The +3/+3 trample card is another consideration. And we are kind of winning the race. If my opponent wants attacking with both here, there's probably that trick. I'll just hang out. Could be just like a Sidisi's pet here, and that's fine. We can just go ahead and attack back. Ooh, this is really nice. Play our Raider Spoils. Don't think my opponent has fantastic blocks. Could double block, but we get at least it's all favorable for us if we do it this way. Do have to be careful. My opponent has 6 plus possibly more on the crackback. So if, you know, I draw too many cards, I'm in a little bit of damage with life, but right now I'm definitely going to do the first couple. And this will get us a Take Up Arms, which is just going to be insane. As long as I don't lose too much life right now. Abzan Guide will also be great. And he flips. Okay, only at 8, so that's good. Take Up Arms we're going to use as our big old blocks. I don't know if I want to go down to 6, though. Definitely want to be attacking him for 7. Ooh, that's nice. But I don't think we can, maybe I do play the Skull Hunter and the Abzan Guide face down. I don't know. Let's see what my opponent has here. Interesting. Letting me draw cards. How many cards do I want to draw? I think because of my Take-Up Arms, I want to draw 2 cards. I'll go down to 6, but I have 3 1/1 white creatures. What 6 damage spell do I care about? Can my opponent attack through? I don't think so. Yeah, we're doing it. I could be wrong here, but I can't think of what spells there are that gets me, that my opponent does 6 to. And we're in such a strong position from here on out. This is great because we had a block, and it makes my opponent use cards. I could do the double block here for like a Sidisi's pet, but I'm actually okay with not doing that. Because if my opponent just uses mana to flip anyway, then I'm in a good position with what's left on the table. Fantastic. I guess we just attack with everything, right? Well, this is Sidisi's pet also. It just gets eaten, so we just attack with both. But then, I mean, yeah, we want to attack with everything. Because it's lethal that way, of course. But we're not going to use the Raider Spoils to draw cards anymore. And then that's it. Yeah, cool. Yeah, Raider Spoils. See, if it works, it works. And our opponent was also missing a color and didn't hit all the land drops, so that helped a little bit. But it's always fun when the Warrior deck works out. On to the finals.